What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a Nerdthusiast Poker Podcast. We have two special guests I'm going to get to in just a second. I'm really excited to talk about some things coming up. Before we jump into the show, first off, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Slot Squad. If you're not following them, make sure you follow them each night, slotsquad.tv, for the number one online streaming site on regulated gambling. Well, we have two special guests, and we're missing our co-host, our buddy Brian. I have to give a shout out. I hope he's okay. He got stung by a hornet 10 minutes before the episode, and he's currently taking some Benadryl. So we hope he's okay and healthy and ready to go. But we have a very exciting episode because tonight we have a returning guest and we have a brand new guest, and they're going to tell you why they're kind of partnered here. So first, Kellie's here. Say hello, Kellie. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Slot Squad.
And then we got Dave Mileaf here, first time as well on the show. What's up, Dave?
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem, no problem. So, before Kellie's got a lot of big news to drop. Every time she's come on, she's dropped on some big news here. So, before I get in that, I want to start with Dave because I want people to know a little bit about Dave and who he is and what he's got going on. So, Dave, I want to start with you, man. I've obviously known you a long time now, but for the people watching here in the Nerdthusiast Poker Podcast, how did you get started? What's your current role right now, and where did you start? Where did this whole process begin?
Currently, I'm the Senior Manager of Poker Operations for BetMGM Online. I oversee everything with the digital poker product, from marketing to integrity, operations, customer support. You name it, falls under my purview. And you know, I've been doing this now for a little over 10 years. Prior to the BetMGM Online, I actually started off as a dealer back in 2010 when live poker came to Pennsylvania at Harrah's and Parks, and 2014 from there. As soon as online gambling became legal in New Jersey, I knew that was where I needed to be. So I joined Party Poker back then. Um, what did I do back then? It was a mix of risk and integrity. Was one of the few people that really understood the game of poker. It was kind of a natural to move into the poker world, focusing mainly around the game integrity side of things. And just over time, as I grew within the business, my role grew. I took over the poker room in 2017, and it's just been to the moon from there. It's a dream job.
One thing I will say is that, man, like the first time I think I met you, I think I was writing at the time or something along those lines for some outlets, and you invited me up to at the time, which is Party Poker, the offices. I think the first time we actually met, and dude, the first time I walked in there, it was like three guys working in a closet, basically, right? Like it was like it was very underwhelming. I'm like, wow, this is running the show. And then I came back when BetMGM kind of took over, I guess a couple years later, and it was just a million people, and I was like, whoa, like this is night and day where you were like a couple years ago.
Oh, literally, yeah, took the words out of my mouth. It's night and day compared to where we were. There was a time when we probably had a dozen to 15 people running everything here, and the BetMGM brand has just exploded over the last few years. It's been a fun ride.
I'm gonna get a little bit in what's going on and what's coming up. But one of the things that I kind of I've said, about Dave and about you, Kellie, like you guys both started from the poker world. You both were dealers, so I think you both understand the experience of players a little better than most people. You're not some person that just came straight out of a business school and now you're in an operation setting. Like you've started from the bottom and worked your way up, and I think a lot of people respect that, myself included, because you understand it from the ground up. It's a lot harder to explain to people the poker world and the ins and outs if you're not in it yourself. I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say this: we coming up in poker as not only players, but working basically every job you could possibly do in a casino. We understand the players. We understand what they want. We're players ourselves, and I think that's the direction that we tend to take more often than not. Is what do the players want? It's not really about us or what we want. We spend a lot of time with all of our players discussing, collaborating, and trying to build out great events like the things that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. All right, Kelly, what do you got for us? Because you sent me like I thought you were gonna give me like one event today when you sent me like kind of a heads up what we're gonna talk about tonight, and I got like a text. I was like, "Whoa, we got a lot going on here at Borgata." So what's happening? What do we got going on?
Are you saying that I send long texts, Hoagie? Is that what you're trying to imply?
I am saying I was not prepared. I was on the treadmill, like organizing my day. I start off every day on the treadmill, I get my things going, my organization, and I was like, "Whoa, we got a lot here to go through." So
Yeah. Well, I mean, we always have a lot, right? We always have a lot. So really, I was just trying to give you options. I mean, there's always options here at Borgata, especially in partnership with BetMGM. But we do have a lot going on. I mean, obviously, our first upcoming series we're really excited about is the Big Big. We kind of partnered over Summer Poker Open. Dave and I spent a lot of hours together, so we were able to throw this series together. And I think it's going to be really incredible. We've got some really incredible events happening, and it gives us a reason to celebrate the new tournament room space in the back of Borgata Poker, which has been rebranded as the BetMGM Poker Tournament Room. So,
that,
BetMGM definitely does it good, and we're excited to see how this event pans out.
I want to kind of start there before you get into the series, the big series. What is this new? Because people are going to be asking, what is this new tournament room? Where you kind of said, where's it at? How many tables at it? What are we looking at there?
Yeah. So we've taken the space in the back of the current poker room, which is 18 tables, where players used to just be able to sign up for a regular game. Now they can both get registered and get paid out at that desk in the back. It gives us an opportunity to centralize all of our tournament operations in one location. And then people know where to go. We have all of the information and all of the TVs going back there. So I think it'll work out really well once we see a large tournament event. This will be the first large event that we run in that space. And of course, we always have the opportunity to overflow into the live room as necessary because it's right outside on the other side of the archway. But we'll see where we're at.
Okay. So you said it's got 18 tables. And so these will be like the prime 18 tables, I'm assuming. So this is where the tournaments will pretty much finish at most of the time, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um, and then so big series. This is going to be the first time we're using it. Well, not me, but you guys are using it. What does this series entail? I mean, it looks like a lot of big events and big buy-ins. So I'm guessing that's why we got the big, right? I'm assuming.
You think it's pretty fitting? You think the name's a good
Yeah,
name?
it's big. Big buy-ins, big games with big series. Perfect.
Yeah, we actually joked about Dave is going to run tiny, tiny qualifiers online for the Big Big series.
Perfect.
Okay. Like get in for as little as what? What's the smallest step you're running, Dave?
Uh, believe the small step is $10 that we have running.
Right, $10.
So
Love it.
Listen, if you can get a $10 seat to turn into a $5,000 buy-in or whatever, I mean absolutely incredible. That is the poker dream, right? Like that's the moneymaker dream we call it, or not. That's what it is, and there's going to be people that's going to do that. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Not only that, they could also turn it into 1 million.
That would be even more incredible. If someone turns $10 into 1 million, that's insane. That's absolutely
we
insane.
love following the qualifiers on property when they make it and just you know, following along for the journey, rooting them on. So it's great.
What So what are some of the events, Kelly, that you want to highlight in the like let's the dates, I guess, first. I did not write them down. I know they're in September, but I forgot to write them down on here. When are we looking for that?
Yeah. Big Bagel launch on, it was originally scheduled for Monday, September 8th, and it was going to run through final table of the championship on Wednesday, the 17th. But when we released the schedule, we only had 2 mixed events out of 9, which is a good percentage. But we have some really high level mixed event players traveling to come. And really, the goal of this series, I think for us, was to put together a lot of big buy-in events in a 10-day window because I know a lot of the higher buy-in players or players that are willing to spend the 2K, 10K, 2,500. They're traveling multiple places for one event or two events. And so the idea behind planning this series is that it was over 10 days and they could choose from 9 different events. But so we ended up adding kind of a big welcome horse event, and that'll happen on Sunday, September 7th. So technically, even though we are all advertising the 8th through the 17th, we will do that horse event to kick off on the Sunday. And leading up into the event, the whole weekend, we're going to run 5 different qualifiers. They're 220, 1 and 10. So it's a choose your own adventure. So players can opt for the $2,200 kickoff, which just has 2 flights and $1 million guarantee, or they can hop into the $2,200 PKO, which is 1K to the prize pool, 1K to the bounty. And so we just came off running our first PKO for Pure Grind series. It was incredibly successful, super smooth. So I can't wait to see how big these crazy PKO bounty stacks get. So players will be able to qualify in the weekend leading up. And then once Sunday, that final qualifier Sunday night happens, we'll turn it over to our BetMGM partners and let them run qualifiers throughout the duration of the week until Friday, when we're offering one single qualifier to the championship, and it's a mega with 25 seats guaranteed. So
Wow.
Really excited about that Friday qualifier.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the PKO because Brian actually played in it this weekend. And I told him a little bit. I said, "Dude, how did that work?" Because I've played PKOs online for years now, and I know it's a little more of a challenge. So he kind of explained it, basically with the chips, and you just kind of got the bank half if you took someone out, and they kept climbing. And I was like, "Well, did it run smooth?" And he was like, "Yeah, it ran actually real smooth." So when someone took someone out, the only thing I didn't ask them, were they cash chips or do you have like extra special tournament chips for them?
Nope. Nope. We're using cash value chips just like a regular bounty. But I did get some really cute pink progressive buttons to go on top of it. So the idea is you can't play with your progressive. You can't touch it. You have to keep it stacked. It can be rainbowed. Only the dealer messes with it. So dealer chops the bounty just like they would a chop putt. They push half to you. You have to put it in your pocket. You can't leave it on the table. And then the dealer physically adds the other half onto your stack. And when they get too big, we are coloring them up out of the impressments. And so it's really working out. I think when they chopped 8 ways, they said they were all putting like 2K, 2,500 in their pocket. And the cool thing about Borgata is all of our multi-day events, we always do a best stack forward. And so when we thought about, okay, best stack forward, every bag is worth a min cash. Your smaller stack will be worth a min cash. Well, it's also got a PKO bounty in it. What's going on with that?
Yeah.
And so just for funsies, we said, all right, your smallest PKO, you also get to keep. So it was kind of a little bit more of an incentive to try to get into that double bag, which I think players really liked. And I don't know, it was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad it worked out the way it did, because otherwise I would have been in a real jam since we had announced this big PKO already. We would have been scrambling, trying to figure out what in the world we were going to do to fix whatever had happened wrong. So lucky. Our staff here is really great too. I mean, they picked it up right away and they processed it just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, when he told me it was PKO, like I literally was like, "Wait, a PKO?" Like, because I'm so used to just hearing bounty, and he's like, "Yeah, it's a PKO," and so I was like, "Oh wow, that's pretty awesome." So, but no, it definitely makes a lot of fun, and you know, I'm obviously biased towards bounty events because I've had some luck in them, but I think bounties are always great, just for a lot of the recreational players because it cushions that sting a lot, as well. It's hard to go home losing $500 for some players, but if you got 100 or 2 or $300 back, it definitely lightens the load a little bit, and it makes it more comfortable. You feel a little more comfortable, like, okay, I didn't lose my whole bankroll or whatever I put on the line. So I think they're great for especially the recreational players. I think most pros like them too, but I think for rec, a lot of them like the bounties.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of times, especially in a PKO now, we see that when you bust somebody, you could get more than a min cash on a day one flight. So it's kind of interesting. It's also interesting to see people who have knocked out a lot of people, and suddenly they're worth a lot. So I think there's a lot of strategy involved in whether or not you're calling that player because of how big their bounty is. So I think it's exciting, and I think it's really cool to see it in the retail space. And I hope we're able to run a lot of them.
Yeah. I hope you do. Dave, so I know we touched on it slightly, but the guarantee, the what am I thinking here? The satellites are all running up online for this, or
Yeah.
what's going on with
Yep.
that?
Satellites have been up and running for about a week now into the championship and the $10,000 buy-in big baller. So we're running step satellites from $5 into the championship and $10 into the big baller. Those are
Nice,
running every day on demand, with finals running twice a week. So they've been doing fantastic. Everybody
nice.
seems really excited for those. Um, as we get closer to some of the other events, we'll expand the satellite options, but we also have our live registration, as always, at Borgata. Players can use their online accounts to register directly to desk with us. That's been a massive success over the last few series. So doing everything we can to support Borgata here, and it's going to be a great series.
Yeah, and I've talked about this with Kelly too, and I probably said it to you before, but I mean, again, one of the things that I like obviously about you guys is that you guys work together. The poker online, the online poker and the live poker actually talk together. And I mean, I'm not going to name other sites, but you guys obviously know that other companies, they don't even talk, or they're so big, or they're like two different entities at all. And it's like, why aren't you guys working together? It just seems like common sense. So the fact that you guys actually do that, it feels like a no brainer, right? But I don't, it just doesn't happen anywhere else really.
No, we have a fantastic relationship for years. Me and Kelly talk pretty much every day. We were always planning, collaborating, and just seeing what's next. She's the best. Everybody knows this.
Um, I'm gonna now jump to the October because, like I said, I wasn't expecting October and November to be on this plate today, but I'm glad it is. So, okay, so the first question people are gonna be saying is like, oh, these some of these events are too big for us, we can't play. So it looks like October is gonna answer that question for a lot of people. And you want to talk about what's going on with this one, Kelly?
Yeah, but I'd love to address your comment there, Hoagie, about how people are saying these events are too big because $2,000 is less than a championship, let's be honest. And
Mhm.
$1 million guarantee on it is fabulous. But more so, people often talk about how, Borgata runs $400 Almighties with $1 million guarantee. So great. Oh, that's a shot. But it's such a shot in the dark that you could throw 400 into that field. You could fire 3 bullets into that field, and you're up against 4,000
Yeah.
other entries. And so it is such a luck box, in order to get down to that final table and to make that big money. Whereas when you look at an event like this, like our $2,200 kickoff that just has those 2 flights, it's going to be you versus 499 other entries or 550 other entries. So the skill level of it, it's definitely a better investment. If you have a 2K bankroll, it's worth throwing it in. It's not very often that you come across an event where you have 2 flights in the same day like this, and such a massive guarantee on it. So I definitely recommend that players, if you don't have a 2K bankroll, hop into a qualifier online, but definitely come and get you some during the big series, because we're going to be making a millionaire. We are absolutely going to make a millionaire during our championship. So really, really excited about that. But yeah, so little player, if you want to be a luck box, we're really excited about partnering with National Harbor. $600 buy-in. You can choose from one of 14 different flights. We're going to guarantee $2 million.
That's crazy.
We'll do 7 over at National Harbor starting on October 4th, and you can play there all the way through Veterans Day. And then following that, you can come over to Borgata. If you bag at National Harbor, all roads do lead to Borgata. So we'll play our 7 flights, and then day 2 will resume on a Saturday. Day 3 will play to completion on a Sunday. Where we have some cool stuff on the background, a cool custom trophy, and we've branded that event Lions of the Atlantic. So hopefully, if that's a big success, we'll see that run either annually or semi-annually. And give National Harbor and Maryland players a go for their money, and really find out who's got the best poker players. Is it Borgata or is it National Harbor?
I like that. It's almost like a Squid Games here. You're putting two teams against each other. I like the idea. Question. I think I have it highlighted. Just want to make sure I'm confirmed. So, is it comp rooms for what is it? Comp rooms for players that coming from National Harbor, or what's that for day 2 and 3? It says here.
Yeah, so if you put chips in a bag and come back for day 2, whether you're playing here at Borgata
Yeah.
or from National Harbor, we're going to take care of your room on Friday and Saturday nights, just to make sure that you are sleeping in style and that you're not coming out of pocket a whole lot of money in order to make that money. So we're going to pay out our min cashes on day 1. And get it down to about 8% of the field. That way, those players that are traveling here are traveling for a decent chunk of money. And if you happen to bust on a day 1 before putting chips in the bag, you have 2 extra bullets to try another flight. So that's our goal, really. And we're pretty excited about it.
No, that's actually I like that idea of comping the rooms for the players that make day 2 and 3 because, for a few reasons. Myself, obviously, as a player, the last thing you want to be doing is like trying to figure out a room on a Friday or Saturday night. I mean, like for most players like myself, like I can get rooms comp, through the week or sometimes Friday nights, but Saturday nights are always very hard. So if you make a day 2 or 3, the last thing you want to do is like have to stay at some like budget motel trying to get a room. Just in the back of the mind of having everything taken care of, that's a huge relief, and I think it helps the player immensely. And especially, like you said, if you're coming off from National Harbor, it's like, okay, I don't have to find a room. I don't have to, they're going to stay right there on property. It's all set, and I like that idea a lot because it's going to entice people from National Harbor to come up here as well.
Hopefully it entices Borgata players too. Let's be honest.
I think, well, $600. I mean, it's going to be massive. I mean, you're going to have knock on wood. I think you're going to crush $2 million guarantee. I will say this though. My wife is pregnant and she's due right in that time frame. So unfortunately, I will not be there October 4th to 19th. October is all baby month for me, so I will not be in attendance.
Good. That's good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. But I'll be. I'm sure I'll be sweating it online and see who's doing what in it. But and so that then leads us. Or so I guess Dave, are we doing? Are you doing? Are you gonna be doing some kind of satellites for that as well?
Of course, of course. Yeah. We'll have a
Awesome.
full suite of satellite options as we get closer to the event.
Awesome. And then so I guess, but will it just be for Borgata or will people have? Will I guess?
We're only going to be satelliting to the Borgata flights
Okay.
online. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because we have not. They have not got Washington, Virginia, ready to go yet, right? That state's still kind of
Not yet, not yet.
trying to figure
Is,
things out down there.
is
Um,
BetMGM doing anything else for Lions of the Atlantic, Dave?
We may be doing something else. Should be pretty interesting. So we're looking at doing jerseys for everybody, which is going to be pretty awesome. So based on where your home poker room is, you'll get a jersey when you come back to Borgata for day 2. So we'll get to see everybody in the field, a nice sea of different colors.
oh,
Really put some competition behind this thing. See
so,
which
so this
poker room
this
comes out on top.
this is like a Squid Games. You got a whole yeah, you got a whole theme going. I like it. That is awesome. Well, hopefully that works out. That'd be pretty cool. Just to see a picture of that would actually look pretty cool. And then
Yeah, hopefully.
and then you dropped the fall one on me too. So we got the Fall Poker Open officially announced November 3rd to the 17th, over $2 million in guarantee. I'm hoping to be out of baby mode by that point where I can at least get down for a day event. So we'll see what happens. I can't guarantee. I'm clearing out all October, November, so haven't made any trips, any plans, but I hope to maybe make a day appearance down there.
3 weeks. You're gonna give
Yeah,
you
good
you're gonna
good
give your
luck,
baby
buddy.
mama 3 weeks before you come back to the poker table.
I said maybe. I said maybe. I'm not guaranteeing it. I cleared out all October, November. There's nothing on my schedule, so we will see what happens.
Good,
It's not the
good.
favorite, buddy. It's not the favorite, but good luck.
So what can you? Is there anything you can say? I know it says $2 million guarantee. You're gonna have online qualifiers, VIP registration, same day registration. Um,
Yeah.
what can you?
So
Anything else?
we have a tighter window, right? So our fall poker open has always kind of led up just into Thanksgiving. That's kind of always the window that it's existed in historically. But this year will officially be the first year that we are back to seeing this event in November. We tried to do kind of a placeholder with the fall mini series, and that was always really incredible, really successful. The first fall mini series that we did, we had a $2,500 million championship that crushed. So we're excited about putting together event center space and having lots of tables and lots of events in that 14-day period. So we'll probably see a very, very similar schedule to what we ran for Summer Poker Open.
Okay.
In fact, I was just talking about the color scheme. If you had to pick a color for a fall poker open, what would you pick?
Well, orange is my favorite color, so I'm kind of biased. So
But isn't that kind of Halloweeny?
it is. I love Halloween though. That's why.
I do too. I do too. But I mean, black and red is my Halloween colors, not
Okay.
orange. But yeah, everybody says orange. So I'm not sure. So that'll be our surprise, I guess. I'm kind of feeling like this color. It's kind of fall, right? But so I think we'll probably release the same type of schedule, just over a consolidated 14 days. But yeah, we'll throw 2 million in guarantees over that. Of course, we'll see Almighty Million return. We love our kickoff events. We'll absolutely host the championship. So we'll close the year out in style with 4 seasons of regattas returned.
Okay. And with that, okay. So you said it's gonna be event center. Is that the same event center that was the summer one? The same room?
Yes.
Okay. I like that room, but it messes me up with the time once in a while because it always looks like daylight in there, like 24/7. I forget what time it is half the time I'm in there. I know that's like part of the casino plan, I guess, but I'm in
Right.
there sometimes like, it's still daylight. I mean, no, it's 10:30 at night. I'm like, oh, okay. But
Yeah, there's no purposefulness in that at all. At all.
but no, it's a nice room. It's perfect. It's right above the escalator. It's easy to get to. So, it's and you get the bathrooms. That's the clutch thing. You got the bathrooms right there. You don't have to run a mile to the
Yeah.
casino to get there. They're right outside those doors, and that's super
Of
clutch.
all the hours I spend planning every little detail of these stupid events, to hear you say that the bathrooms are most important, just
It is. I'm telling you,
so elated.
it's so convenient being able to walk out that door because you know, my problem is that I'm built on an online schedule. So like every hour I'm up. So when I have those 2 hour levels, I'm like having the bathroom right there. That is clutch. That is any poker player that's an online grinder will tell you the same thing. I promise. It's clutch. Um, what
When is your championship,
what's
Dave?
that?
I know that BetMGM is also running a championship online.
Yep, for sure. So our BetMGM Online Championships, they're going to be starting September 21st. So we have 70 events in that series with a 1K buy-in, 2-day main event, 400,000 guarantee.
Oh wow.
Satellites are running now for that. That's going to be a pretty great series. So we're
Are
looking forward to that as well.
any trophies or what? Anything with those?
Of course, yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
we got a bunch of trophy events, buy-in starting at $25, up to 1K. They're going to be pretty great.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know how much you could talk about this, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Obviously, some of the sweep sites have obviously crashed in New Jersey. They can no longer operate in New Jersey. Do you think this is going to obviously help? I think BetMGM pump up even more numbers here. Like, are we going to see probably bigger fields? I think.
I like to think so, yeah. I mean, about a week ago, right, is when that ban got put in place.
Yeah, a lot of people don't
So
even know it too. Like, people have reached out to me like, "Hey, I can't get on this." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it's banned. You can't get on it anymore. It's sweep sites are gone." So I think it's a good thing.
yeah,
You know,
I think so too. I think it's good, uh, especially for the regulated economy here.
yeah.
Um,
I mean,
we do everything the right way, and just it's going to be great for the players to know that they have a trustworthy, safe site that is going to be here.
that's what it comes down to. I mean, as being in the poker world as long as I've been, it's great playing on some of these sites. Some of the fields are softer, but it's also horrible when you don't know if you're going to get your money out. And that's the great thing about some of these regulated sites, obviously yours included. I know that I'm going to get my money. Like, there's no sweat that I'm like, dude, am I not going to get this week? Is it not going to come into my bankroll? Like, I know if I hit the cash out button, it's there and usually under 48 hours. Like, it's in my account. Sometimes faster. That is the great feeling to feel. And I think, with those other sites, you never knew what you were going to get. So I I think it's good for the long term of the game. Hopefully, we can get some more states involved. I've been saying that for years, and I know you've probably been saying the same. But hopefully, we can get some more states regulated and on the board, and get the fields even bigger. But I think it's a good step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's looking forward to the growth of online poker, um, step
Uh,
by step. We'll get there.
All right, I got to go to our questions. I have one question, and then Brian, he actually sent me a question to put in there, and then I have one myself. So a little side questions before we wrap up tonight. We had one Twitter question from AC Poker. He asked, I guess this is for Kelly, is there ever going to be PLO 6 at Borgata?
So I probably get a DM from AC Poker once a month asking about PLO 6 here at Borgata. So, there are so many different variations of poker right now that it's PLO is just really taking off. Big O occasionally. To look at a PLO 6, I mean, where are we going to end up? Is PLO 8 next? Is PLO 7 next? It feels crazy to me. But, obviously, if we see a lot of PLO 6 going up around the country, we'll look at it. But to go through a process of changing regulations and asking for different game variations for my little AC Poker on X, I just don't know. I don't know. He's going to have to come with like a whole group of guys or
Oh,
tell him
okay.
maybe to get a petition or something
All
together. And I'll see what I can get done here in Jersey.
right, you heard it here, AC Poker. You got to get a petition, get some people together, and make it happen.
No, I'm serious.
I did have a question for Brian. He asked me to put this on the sheet earlier, even though he's not here. He actually just texted me and said, make sure to apologize to Kelly and Dave and explain what happened. I said I already did. So, but he did have this question. This is more for Dave, though. So I guess I'll drop the other site's name here. Out when we're in Vegas, WSOP online, they run all in events for like their big main event buy-ins. They do like an $80 all-in event. He was asking if that would ever be in the possibilities for BetMGM, and this was his reasoning, and I kind of agree with it. He's like, I want to play some of these $500 buy-ins to get to like a main event seat, but he's like, sometimes they just don't have 5 or 6 hours in a night to sit down and really rock it, So he said, would there ever be like an $80, $100 all in where you just, as soon as it fills up, it launches or anything like that? Any possibilities of that in the future?
Yeah, for sure. That's how we operate. Player feedback, we'll take into consideration, look and see what makes the most sense, and if it does, we roll it out. We've done similars with these all-in tournaments and qualifiers. Um, they're hit and miss as far as participation goes, but I'm happy to give it a shot if it's something that we think might get off the ground.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Brian, I know you're not here, but we'll get one up for you.
yeah. I mean, I think I don't think it's going to fill up as quite as fast as something in Vegas, just because obviously everyone's already out there for those things. But I think if it's one of those where like if it's what you need so many people to get 2,000 and you need 20 people to hit 100 and it sits there until it fills or something like that, and it's just an all-in launch and you don't have to be there. I think that's one of the clutch things. I've done that myself, like out in Vegas, like they're like $80 or whatever they are, and I'll click it and I'll literally go to bed and wake up the next morning and be like, oh, I torched $80, I didn't get it. But I don't have to be up all night because I have a tournament the next morning. So it's just like, if obviously there's a little bit of gamble in all of us. So I think,
Yeah, that's gamble.
yeah, it
And
is
some of
gamble.
those make sense to toss those up before the event starts after all the other qualifiers have run their course and everybody can hop in that wants that last shot of it. And the
Yeah.
guys like yourself, we just want to click and forget. And
Click and forget. That should be the title of it right there. Click and
yeah,
forget.
yeah.
Click and forget. And then I had one question for Kelly. Any plans for any kind of live streams again in the future, or will that be more for the Winter Open if that comes to that point?
Yeah, we're looking at it. Obviously, we love our live streams. We loved all of the cash games. I'd really like for the next time that we look at operating live streams, I'd really like to have approvals to be able to live stream actual cash games instead of having to do them kind of in the tournament style that we've been operating under. So really looking at that and the back end work for that. And hopefully by the next time we see live streams, we'll be able to get you guys playing with real cash value chips instead of having you cash out at 4 hours in.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to explain when I was there last time. I was trying to explain, but like, wait, is it a tournament? Like, no, it's not a tournament. But you're using chips. I'm like, no, it's tournament chips. So I had to explain to people like how it worked. But yeah, I think
Well, it is technically a tournament.
yes, exactly, exactly,
Just the blinds don't ever go up.
exactly. Hey, whatever you got to do, whatever you got to do.
That's right.
Anything else you guys want to add before we close up today?
Well, I
Well,
just wish you always the best of luck, Hoagie. I hope you know that.
thank you, thank you. Well, Brian, unfortunately, like I said, couldn't be here. But I know he'll definitely probably be at all these series coming up as long as his Hornet attack subsides.
Zach,
Where
that's great.
where can
Sorry to
they?
laugh, Brian. I hope you're okay, buddy.
I bust his balls all the time, so this is just great. So, where can everyone follow you guys at? Where's if you want to put out your socials real quick?
I'm on X at Poker Babe Boss. You can also follow us on X at Borgata Poker. That's pretty much what my page is. It's just a repost of Borgata Poker. So same.
So you can follow me on X at _PokerDave_, or you can catch me on Discord in some of the US poker channels that we have on there. We offer some support to players and do a lot of collaboration with the community there. So we're pretty active.
Awesome. I will make sure that we put them into the descriptions as well if people want to follow you guys as well. But I want to thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for always for dropping the news here. We got a pretty good fan base that's just continually growing with Nerdthusiasts, and it's mostly a lot of local Northeast people, so they love this kind of news. So thank you guys for including me in this, being able to share this. So thank you everyone for watching at home, and make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And shout out to Slot Swap for being our sponsor. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.